what do you get when you get to the end of the world? Amazing meals and incredible views.
Welcome to Living Phase 2.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nancy, and we're empty nesters striving to live life to the fullest.
And we're living that full life aboard Royal Caribbean's 274-night, 9-month ultimate world cruise.
We sure are. Well, friends, we are now circling around the bottom of Cape Horn in South America, entering into the Beagle Channel. You can see our views on our previous video that we did. That it's just stunning, absolutely gorgeous, amazing views, and we're continuing in through that Beagle Channel to the southernmost city of the world, which is Ushuaia. So the Beagle Channel, though, it was named not after a dog, but it was after a ship where they discovered the Beagle Channel, and it was just absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it really is beautiful. And so Ushuaia is called the city at the end of the world, and now there is actually another small town. There's a couple colonies that are, you know, a little further south, but really as far as a city goes, it is the world's southernmost city.
Yes, it
yes,
is.
it's right at the end of the Pan American Highway, and that's the highway that starts up in Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, and runs all the way down through all the Americas and ends right here with Argentinian Highway 3, and you can see we stood at the end of that highway as well.
It's 19,000 miles,
yes.
World's longest highway.
Yep, and it's kind of interesting that we actually were in Alaska a couple of months before we started this world cruise with my parents, and here we are right back down at the other end of that highway. So it's really quite just really breathtaking for us to be on both sides of that highway within a few months.
A couple of other things about Ushuaia, the area that we're at. We are now 680 miles from the Antarctic Peninsula, and Ushuaia is one of 5 gateway cities to Antarctica, meaning that all passengers, all cargo has to go through one of these 5 cities, and Ushuaia is one of them.
Yeah, and so while we were there, this is an overnight port, by the way. We really enjoy those overnight ports, so we will be staying the night. The cruise ship will stay docked all night, and we have a nice long time to spend here. So on day 1 here in Ushuaia, we decided to take a tour, a bus ride into the Tierra del Fuego National Park. It's the national park, it's an Argentinian national park at the end of the world here, and it has a few different stops and just gorgeous views of the national park. And we did get out and hike a few places, and our first stop was the post office at the end of the world.
Yeah, you could mail a postcard there and get a postage stamp on it from the end of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, a little pro tip here, a lot of tours are going to stop at this post office at the end of the world. It can be very crowded. We had a friend that mailed a couple postcards from there, and you know, you'll look and there might be 4 or 5 people standing in front of the post office, but then you go inside and there's 50 people jammed in there. And when she was in there, they had one postal worker, no pins to write your postcard.
Yeah, so second pro tip, bring pins with you.
Yes, and bring local currency, no credit cards accepted. So it's very, you need to be prepared if you're going to do this, because you actually usually have very little time on some of these tours to actually go mail these cards. So just kind of be prepared, maybe even have your postcard all filled out, have local currency and a pin so that you're set to go when that you get up to the postman and then he takes your card. So
that's a neat souvenir.
It is. Now, we didn't do that, but we did go on a hike there. So there's some beautiful hiking trails along the inlets and lakes and rivers along the way down here, because this whole area is, I guess we just say it's a hiker's paradise.
It really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned currency there at the post office, and other than the post office, really most any place would take credit cards, U.S. dollars, or the Argentinian real.
Right, so we had no problems
anywhere
anywhere
else. 3,
right,
so other than the post office.
The governments.
You're good with any of that type of currency or your credit cards.
Right, and it's really interesting because the exchange rate right now in Argentina is extremely favorable for tourists and visitors. They're struggling a little bit with their currency right now, and so it makes it very affordable to visit down here at this time. So, watch the exchange rate because it's changing very rapidly down here, and so you want to make sure that you're getting the best exchange rate. And usually that means use your credit card. It's really nice, though, what we found in almost every country, very different from the United States, they do not take your credit card away from you. They bring a wireless credit card machine out, and you tap your credit card, and it never leaves your possession. So that's always really nice, and I appreciate that, and it can reduce fraud quite a bit. So after our tour left the post office, we made several more stops. One was at the visitor center for the national park. Very nicely done, and there's where we could really see how amazing the trail systems are and how much of a hiker's paradise this is. And I was impressed how well the trails were marked.
Right, I was too. It seems like the trails would be very easy to navigate, as far as you wouldn't get lost. They seemed like everything was very well marked, at least from our vantage point.
Yes, yeah. Distances, they're all color coded, how difficult they were.
Right.
They did a great job with that, and we said we would love to come back and have more time to just go hiking.
Oh, we would. It was that gorgeous.
Yes, yeah. You can see some of the scenes from some of our other stops in the national park, and then after that we headed back to Ushuaia, and just in time for some lunch, and we decided we'd have lunch in town. That was I think a great decision, because Tierra del Fuego is known for, Ushuaia and this whole area is known for king crab fishing. So much like Alaska in the north, in the south they also fish for king crab here. So we decided to hunt down a really good place to have some king crab. But this is where understanding local culture and traditions really comes in, because they do a siesta. So a lot of the restaurants will close around 2 to 3 o'clock, and they won't reopen until the evening. And that was about the time our bus came back. So yeah, we were in a bit of a hurry.
We were, but thankfully we got into a place, Tia Elvira, and we were the last ones to get seated before their siesta. The only unfortunate thing was we were not able to get the king crab,
the actual boiled crab
on a plate like we had hoped for. But we did get king crab empanadas, and we got a king crab casserole that was, both were just delightful. You also had a dish called lingua, which is, you want to tell them?
It's beef tongue.
Yes.
And it was an appetizer. It was very good.
Actually good. It was it was very good. So
Yeah.
that was quite a delicious
Yeah,
meal.
it was nice. So even though we didn't get the actual boiled, fresh king crab, that they did make some up for us, and it was really good. You could even see the king crabs as you saw in the windows in the tanks. And some of our friends here on the ship did make it back for dinner and did have the king crab and said it was just excellent. And there's plenty of places to have it if you're down here in in Ushuaia. There's no lack of king crab.
No, and lamb is also very popular here.
Yes.
So there's a lot of lamb dishes as well, if you like that.
So we went ahead and continued to walk the city, and as Nancy has said, it's stairs, and more stairs. You go up and walk across.
Every
and
direction you're going up.
That's right. And so we went ahead and we love going to a local grocery store. We went and did that, and what we were looking for there was some Argentinian Malbec.
And found it.
Yes. So it was really nice, and it was great because I got a whole variety of different bottles, and they were all between $3 and $5 a bottle.
Great.
And so we brought some to bring back to the ship that we're going to have for a dinner later with friends, and that was really nice. And you picked up a few little sundries that we needed as well for back in our room.
And as a reminder, on most cruises you cannot bring alcohol back onto the ship, or you can, but they will hold it for you. And being full 9-month world cruisers, they've made an exception for us that wine that we can bring that back on the ship.
Yep, and enjoyed ourselves.
Yes.
So, well, then we walked the downtown, looked for us a little souvenirs. You collect Christmas ornaments, and I was looking for a patch. I found one.
Got a Ushuaia End of the World sweatshirt here.
Yep, you got that. And so then we headed back to the ship because we had a big dinner planned for later that night.
We did that, and that was a lot of fun. Here, one of our friends made reservations at a restaurant called Chez Menu. It was way up on halfway up the mountain or halfway up the hill. And so we took an Uber to get there, only $5 for the Uber ride. But actually, before we went there, we all got together and went to
Jeremy Buttons. Jeremy Buttons, yes, Jeremy Buttons. It's a gin bar.
Yes, and we could have almost eaten there because we had a little appetizer. We had drinks again. Everything was $5, and these drinks were phenomenal.
And they brew or distill their own gin there, and it was excellent. And no, it was just, again, highly impressed. So again, Jeremy Buttons, make a note of that if you're ever in Ushuaia. We would go back. It was really good. But then, like you said, we took the Uber up the mountain for like a total of $5 up there.
Chez Manu.
Yeah, and it was, the view up there was amazing.
It was. Now, we had reservations at 8:30, and when we got there, we were one of the first tables. There was a couple other tables filled, but by 9:30 at night, all the tables were then filled. And just culturally, they do not rush you. When you've got a reservation, you have that table for the entire evening.
Right. They only do one seating. They're not trying to turn tables really.
Right.
It's just really, you come in and you spend the whole evening there, and we did. We were there till 11:30 at night.
We were, and it was walls of windows, and it overlooked the city. It overlooked our cruise ship. It was just absolutely just breathtaking.
It was.
It really was.
And honestly, the food matched the view.
It did.
And the service.
And the service.
It was the trifecta of a restaurant. You had the view, excellent service, and amazing food. The chef, it takes a lot of pride in his food. It's a small menu, which, he puts all his love and soul into every one of those dishes, and it was quite amazing. I had the pork knuckle. As the main dish.
Yes, and I had fish as the main dish, but I had scallops as an appetizer. So hitting the seafood hard there.
Oh yeah, of course. Look where we're at.
And then there were 6 of us that were all there, and we shared desserts. We ordered one of every dessert, which there were 4 desserts, and had several bottles of wine.
Yeah.
But by the time it was all said and done, it was only about $70 a person.
Yeah,
so
with wine, desserts, appetizers, meal, everything.
Wonderful French menu.
Yes, it was unbelievable. So again, Chez Manu, we can't recommend it enough. Right. It's a real hidden gem here. You really do need to make reservations because it's fairly small, but it is absolutely worth it. You just not to miss here. So that's one of the things I have been very impressed with here in Ushuaia is the food. I mean, it's really almost a culinary paradise down here at the end of the world.
But even the chef came out at the end of the night and greeted all of the guests. We got pictures with him, and the thing that I was so impressed with was he was so proud. He is so proud of that restaurant. He is so proud of his food, and he should be.
Yes,
because it was really that good. But it was just nice to see someone take such pride in their work.
Yes, no, it was. It really was. So after that amazing dinner, we took our $5 Uber back down the hill and made it back to the ship with no issues.
It was about 12:30 at night when we got back.
Yeah.
And so something to note is when your ship is docked overnight at a port, you can get on and off at any time. I mean, we could have come back at 2 a.m.
Yeah, or stayed at some. In fact, some people got a hotel.
Some did.
Dockside, and they just stayed in town.
Yeah. Some did, but there's security there. There you still have to show your SeaPass card to get on and off the ship. But you can get on and off at any time during the middle of the night.
Well, so with that late night, we had to get some rest because we had another tour early in the morning.
We did. We were taking a catamaran ride up Beagle Channel where we got to see some more wonderful wildlife. We saw lots of sea lions. We saw thousands of cormorants, which look like
they call them fake penguins. Yeah,
they look like penguins, but they're not because they can fly. But they have the same coloring as a penguin.
And once you look closer, they do look more like a seagull or something like that than they do a penguin. But from a distance, many people will mistake them for penguins. But yeah.
We saw some condor, which that's kind of cool.
Yeah, especially one that was
big wings.
Yeah, it was propped on a little small island, and it was overlooking the city. That was really quite special to see. And then we headed out and saw lots of sea lions.
We did, and they took us to a lighthouse and got lots of pictures.
Yeah,
So
and they
that
took
was-
us to another island where we actually got off the catamaran and hiked up to a little overlook that could, we could see the city. In fact, we could see our ship from there, and yeah, it was. I enjoyed that a lot.
That was
I
a
enjoyed
nice
that.
tour.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really good. So, and we got back to the city with about an hour or so to spare
Now, all
before.
aboard was 1:30.
Yep, we got back about 12 o'clock, and we decided. So it's interesting. A couple of maybe 6 months ago, quite a while ago, somebody sent around a list of the best hot dogs in the world, and two of them were listed in Argentina. So we actually went on a hot dog hunt, and we found one, which was Pancho, right?
Right.
Pancho, yeah.
That's what you had yesterday.
Yeah, we had that
At a little-
one at a convenience store. And then right after we got off the catamaran, we walked right out, and luckily enough, right there was a stand selling a choripan, which is another Argentinian sort of hot dog. I think it's more of a sausage with a nice bread. It was actually very good. You put a chimichurri on it. It was really enjoyable. So we've knocked off what are listed at least as
two hot dogs.
two on the best hot dog of the world list. And
Are they the best?
They were good. I don't know. It's
Okay.
a great Chicago dog or something like that.
All
I
beef
don't
hot
know.
dog is hard to beat.
Yeah. So, but they were good. It's fun to try street food and new things in different countries and what they like. The choripan actually was very good, and it was kind of fun with the dog laying there at the at the little hut where he was selling them. So.
And the ponchos, they put on shoestring potatoes on the top. Spicy mayonnaise on it.
It was. I mean, it was good. There was nothing wrong. It was very good. So try those different things. Reach out, go outside your comfort zone, and try those different things. And well, then we headed back to the ship, made it on board with about a half hour to spare, and the ship took off, and we started going through the Straits of Magellan and some just unbelievable views and sights as we traversed more waterfalls, and just it was incredible.
It was amazing. And I think that our friends who are watching are going to think this is a drinking game. Every time we say amazing, how beautiful everything is,
and cute.
Take a
Those two things,
but lots of glaciers, many glaciers. Well, Royal Caribbean always has really good headline shows in the evening, and today was no different. We saw Salvatore Hassard. He showed us his life through music, and he's quite the instrumentalist, and it was just fun, humorous, and a very good show to watch.
Yeah, what he's really known for, and he's been doing this act for many years, he sings We Are the World, and he does every single singing part in a voice that mimics the person singing it. So it was really quite amazing. But he's very famous for doing that particular song, and I enjoyed it a lot. It was good. They're not disappointing when it comes to the to the acts, to the entertainment that they have on board. So then we're heading off.
We're supposed to go to Punta Arenas.
Yep. So the problem is, once again, Punta Arenas is a tender port, and we're finding out that we're now, was it 0 for 3, right, on tender ports?
The tender ports were not getting very lucky with.
And a lot of it is just the weather here in this part of the world is just so unpredictable. The seas were just too high. And in fact, we pulled into Punta Arenas, and I thought this was interesting. Is we looked at it, we thought, it doesn't look too bad this morning. Maybe we'll make it into port. And all of a sudden, the captain comes on and says, we have gale force winds coming in, and they have actually closed the port. So they actually asked all ships in the vicinity to leave the vicinity of the port for their safety. So our captain made all the right decisions. He warned us that might happen, and we moved on. But as we pulled away, there was an amazing rainbow over the city, and got a picture of that as we go forward.
And so, since we didn't get to go there, we did get to go through some of the fjords. And I don't think, if we'd have spent the day in Punta Arenas, I don't think we'd have had the time to go through these fjords and to see all the glaciers.
Extra ones, Right. Oh, and my gosh, we went down was incredible.
Yes. So again, just much more beauty that you're going to get to see here with all the waterfalls and glaciers.
Yeah, there was one view, we had 4 glaciers in view, at least the glacial arms in view at one time. One picture, we had 40 waterfalls in view at one time before we couldn't even count anymore.
Yeah.
It was beauty and spectacular. It was just, again, words don't describe it, and so you'll see that in the pictures here. And I know you're getting tired of us probably hearing this on this channel, but you know, the pictures don't do it justice, and we hope that by saying that, actually, we're maybe inspiring you to make these trips and to come to these places. We're giving you glimpses. You know, we talk about the World Cruise as the buffet and the sampler platter. You know, we don't have a lot of time in each of these places, and that's giving us an idea if these are the type of places that we'd want to come back to. And so, speaking of that, Ushuaia, our main port here, Nancy, would you come back to Ushuaia?
Oh, 100%. Yes, I would love to come back to Ushuaia and spend more time here. I'd like to spend more time in the Tierra del Fuego National Forest, do a little bit of hiking, but spend more time in the city as well.
Yeah, wonderful city.
It was it was a real surprise. It was just a surprise and delight, and
I
good
agree.
all around.
I agree 100%. Yeah, here at the end of the world, you'd think, oh, it's just going to be a one-horse town, as we say in the United States, and not much going on. It was wonderful. It really is. The other thing I'd like to do at some point is, you know, if you look back at our previous video on Antarctica, I actually would very much like to take an explorer ship, a smaller ship that can get into some of the more smaller coves, maybe actually go out and land at Elephant Island and you know, set foot in Antarctica, so that a lot of the explorer type ships, the expedition type ships, do leave from Ushuaia. A lot of times you may board in Buenos Aires or board in Punta Madryn, you know, one of those other ports we've been to, and then they head down and they make kind of a back and forth. So yeah, it's very, very it's not hard to get to Ushuaia. There's an airport, there's the cruise ships that go there. So yeah, I would go back in a heartbeat. Absolutely. So where are we going next?
Stop, Valparaiso, Chile is our next stop, and it's not a tender port. So we should make it there. We've got a wonderful walking tour scheduled to see the beautiful city of Valparaiso.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us on this adventure to the end of the world. If you haven't done it, please reach down and hit the subscribe button. We always do appreciate that, and give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and we will see you the next time as we move our way up the Chilean coast.
Thanks, friends. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.